Did you notice that a certain Prince Harry flew from LA all the way to Shanghai to apparently promote greener travel?
In a hot air balloon, or did he fly in an aeroplane?
I think it was a jet, don't you, Tom?
Right.
Nobody saw this coming, but Prince Harry just got obliterated on national TV, not by the press, not by the palace, but by South Park. The ruthless cartoon is back with a vengeance, dropping an episode so savage, it's left Harry's public image in ashes. The title? Jet Race for Spotlight. And this wasn't a light jab, it was a full-on takedown of Harry's glossy green persona. What should have been a proud moment, his appearance at the Envision 2025 summit in China, has now spiraled into a global humiliation. Cameras caught the fallout, the internet lit up instantly, and this is just the beginning.
The majority of China is powered by coal, but they're going all in on nuclear, they're going all in on hydro, they're going all in on solar, they're going all in on gas. I mean, they're just doing everything.
Yeah, which is fantastic, but you have sort of politicians going off there on all expenses paid trips.
The episode doesn't hold back. It rips apart Prince Harry's climate campaign, Travelist, turning him into a cartoon version of everything critics have accused him of, a jet-setting, spotlight-chasing contradiction. And this is where the irony hits its peak. He's preaching sustainability, yet flies in on a roaring private jet. Really? The screen lit up with a brutal parody. Animated Harry touches down at the summit in a deafening aircraft, waving to crowds of paparazzi and wide-eyed fans. South Park didn't bother with subtlety, it went straight for the jugular. It exposed what people have been whispering for years. Harry warns the world to cut back, live greener, and fly less, yet reportedly logged over 20 private flights in just 1 year. And then the hypocrisy couldn't be any louder.
Straight away on what Prince Harry did.
Of course.
Let's do that as a start, and let's direct it directly to Prince Harry. Harry, stop being such a hypocrite.
Even major outlets like The Guardian and The Times have called out the disconnect between Harry's climate messaging and his private jet lifestyle. But South Park? They took that quiet criticism and blasted it into a global punchline. They didn't just poke fun, they packaged what the public was already thinking into one brutal spectacle. And let's talk about that title, Jet Race for Spotlight. It's not just catchy, it's dead on. It slices right into the heart of what many believe Harry's public life has turned into, a non-stop scramble for attention. The cartoon version of Harry bounces from summit to summit, tossing out buzzwords like eco-leadership, resilience, and global cooperation, but somehow manages to say nothing.
Which is going to take 1,000 trees to offset over the course of an entire 12 months. Absolutely
he could
ridiculous.
Fit those trees in his California mansion. We've all seen the garden.
Absolutely. The whole thing, absolutely ridiculous.
While doing very little that actually moves the needle, the writers didn't need to exaggerate much. In real life, Harry's speeches sound impressive on the surface, full of polished phrases and high ideals, but they rarely come with a clear action plan. He's been called out more than once for being all talk, no substance. A guy who speaks the language of activism from behind a wall of privilege and million-dollar contracts. South Park didn't have to stretch the truth. They just boiled it down into pure satire. One of the most cringeworthy moments in the episode is when they parody Harry's Envision 2025 speech. Because let's be honest, the real one wasn't much better. He stood in front of a global crowd, preaching about a cleaner, better future, but even his most loyal fans admitted it was vague. Big words, nice tone, but where were the solutions? The measurable goals? The actual policies?
Right there, we have the author of the new bestseller, Spare. I'm here with Prince Harry. Prince Harry. Harry, I believe you said I could call you Harry.
I actually said you can call me whatever you want.
Okay, well, obviously, because we're such dear friends. Now,
South Park didn't miss a beat. They grabbed that weakness and ran wild, showing animated Harry stumbling through a tired, recycled speech, blurting out clueless lines like, "Let's go green for the future of something." It got laughs, sure, but it also hit a little too close to reality. Critics on both sides of the Atlantic have pointed out that while Harry has a massive platform, he rarely uses it to push real, impactful change. His speeches often come off as polished PR moves, more focused on maintaining the brand than changing the world. The show even drags Meghan Markle into the satire, but in just one quick scene that lands hard. She hands Harry a checklist titled Weekly Fame Goals, a fictional gag that cuts deep. It's short, but it speaks volumes. That tiny moment reinforces what many are starting to believe, that the Duke and Duchess's public missions...
And we had the wonderful interview the other night that everyone acclaimed as groundbreaking. But the thing is that even after reading 400 pages of your book, there's only so much you can fit into 400 pages, and I feel like I don't know you as well as I'd like to. My team up there in the Late Show labs have come up with 15...
You have a lab here?
Oh, yeah.
People have noticed how often the couple shows up in big money media deals, Netflix, Spotify, memoirs, while still claiming to be victims of media intrusion. South Park, in its usual savage style, blew that contradiction wide open. Harry isn't portrayed as a changemaker. He's shown as a man obsessed with his own image, drifting farther and farther from the values he says he stands for. Prince Harry's reaction? Absolutely explosive. Sources close to the Sussex Circle say he was incandescent with rage after seeing the episode. And this wasn't just playful parody. He reportedly took it as a full-on smear campaign, not just against his activism, but his entire integrity. But here's the thing. When you put yourself in the spotlight and preach from a pedestal, you open the door to criticism, especially when your lifestyle flat-out contradicts your message. This isn't Harry's first time under fire, but rarely has the backlash been this public, this viral, and this sharp. His fury only proves what critics have long suspected. Harry wants the spotlight, but not the heat that comes with it. Let's go back to Travelist, the eco-platform he launched back in 2019 with so much fanfare.
My team has come up with 15 questions that are scientifically calculated to plumb the depths of anyone, to reveal their soul to the world, as good as your book is, and it is. This is really going to open you up to the world. Are you prepared to be known by the world after you answer what history will call the Colbert Questionnaire?
No, but let's do it.
It was supposed to promote eco-friendly tourism. On paper, Travelist sounded like a step in the right direction. But over time, the cracks started to show. The website is full of sleek graphics and broad promises about responsible travel, but when you look closer, there's very little to back it up. No major policy changes, no reformed industry partners, just another celebrity-branded campaign with more flash than substance. Meanwhile, Harry's own carbon footprint has only gotten bigger. Dozens of private jet trips to red carpet events, interviews, and public appearances, all while preaching sustainability. That gap between what he says and what he does is exactly what South Park zeroed in on. And here's the kicker. They didn't even have to make anything up.
And a toasty means grilled? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
In a toasty machine, though.
In a toasty machine?
Yeah.
Like a press, like a panini press, that sort of thing?
That's the one, yeah.
That sounds good.
I have to be so careful with these questions because the Americanisms to the Britishisms, it's very different.
Right,
Got me and my wife into a lot of trouble at the beginning of our relationship.
This episode didn't come out of nowhere. It dropped right when Harry's credibility was already hanging by a thread, after the explosive claims in his memoir Spare, the backlash from the Oprah interview, and his growing rift with King Charles and Prince William. More and more, Harry isn't seen as a symbol of progress, but as a walking contradiction. He says he wants privacy, yet cashes in on multi-million-dollar deals to tell his side. He says he wants to change the world, yet teams up with entertainment giants to turn his life into drama. South Park didn't make these contradictions up, it just held up a mirror. And in just 20 minutes, it turned years of public frustration into one ruthless, laugh-out-loud reality check.
Horse riding or horseback riding, where else are you going to ride the horse?
Horse belly, cling on to it like that. One more time, I'm sorry. One more time with that? Okay.
That instantly becomes a meme.
Second question. What's one thing that you own that you should really throw out?
The Envision 2025 summit was supposed to be Harry's comeback moment. After months of media exhaustion, this was his shot to show the world he had depth, not just drama. But instead of rising as a strong leader, he walked straight into a global ambush. His keynote speech looked sharp on the surface, but underneath, it was missing everything that mattered. No clear goals, no accountability, and no real collaboration with policymakers. People were left asking the obvious, was this about real impact, or just another staged moment to keep his name trending? South Park didn't just mock him, they flipped the entire summit on its head. What was meant to be a mission turned into a performance.
Rugby team in 2003 in the Tulsa Stadium at the World Cup final.
Did you get it?
After a few drinks, wearing an England rugby top, I was walking around going, Johnny, Mike, Lawrence, come on, sign my shirt. And they're all there standing there naked with their willies hanging out. But I got all 15 signatures. I was very happy with that.
They signed it with pens, yes?
And millions of people agreed. The internet didn't just watch the episode, it exploded. Social media lit up with hashtags like #FameChaserHarry, #TravelistTravesty, and #SouthParkSavage. Memes took over the platforms, clips from the show went viral, and comment sections turned into digital courtrooms, packed with people calling out the hypocrisy of a man who talks about saving the planet while enjoying every luxury that damages it. Some fans stepped in to defend him, but the damage was done. The laughter wasn't just for entertainment, it was recognition. Recognition of something that had been building for a long time. Prince Harry isn't seen as the brave royal rebel anymore. He's becoming a global punchline, a walking example of how fame can spiral into self-parody. The royal family's silence speaks volumes. Buckingham Palace hasn't issued a statement, but behind closed doors, insiders believe the episode may have secretly pleased royal traditionalists. For years, they've watched Harry and Meghan bring their grievances to global platforms, from Netflix to Oprah. But now that public opinion is shifting, it's clear the biggest threat to the couple's image isn't the tabloids, it's their own contradictions. South Park didn't destroy Harry's reputation, it just fast-forwarded what was already falling apart. As satire tends to do, it said what many were thinking but hesitant to say aloud. Jet Race for Spotlight wasn't just a cartoon, it was a cultural mirror. It showed the widening gap between Harry's words and actions. It challenged the carefully curated image. And most importantly, it reminded people that speeches and titles mean nothing without integrity. You can't fight for the planet from the seat of a private jet, you can't claim victimhood while monetizing your own story, and you can't chase the spotlight, then act surprised when it turns harsh. Prince Harry wanted the global stage. Now he has it, just not in the way he imagined. This time, the spotlight didn't lift him up, it burned. And to all of you who continue to watch, comment, and share your voice, thank you. Whether you agree, disagree, or fall somewhere in between, your presence here shapes the conversation. We're not just reporting what's trending, we're unpacking what's underneath. As for Harry, time will tell if this controversy leads to actual reflection or just sparks another PR tour. But one thing is clear, the admiration is fading and scrutiny has taken its place. Because when you zoom out and look at the pattern, this fall from grace didn't happen overnight. It's been building slowly. From the drama of Spare that drove a wedge between him and the royal family, to the Netflix series that felt more like marketing than meaning, Harry's reinvention campaign has stumbled again and again. He wanted to be seen as a humanitarian, a leader, a voice for change. But too often, he comes across as tone-deaf, distant, and fixated on controlling his story. The Envision 2025 summit should have been a turning point, a chance to show the world he was serious. Instead, it gave critics exactly what they needed. A hollow speech, no urgency, no partnerships, and a painfully obvious contradiction between his luxurious lifestyle and his environmental message. Then came South Park, and it hit harder than any headline. Because this wasn't fiction, it was a reflection. A pattern of contradiction, of carefully crafted activism that rings hollow. And now, Harry's silence says more than any press release could. From collapsing media deals to strained royal ties, from disappearing sympathy to the unraveling of his credibility, Prince Harry is not just navigating criticism, he's living a public reckoning. What once looked like a new beginning now reads like a warning. And the world is watching it unfold, one episode, one headline, one jet ride at a time. Stay tuned, because the spotlight on the Sussexes is far from finished.